Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities, presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself. Corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, 5-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight, we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Taylar Smith. A little bit about her. Taylar Smith was born and raised in Davenport, Iowa. She started out as an intern with CNN. She is the owner and CEO of TaylarleighTV and an entertainment media correspondent. Taylar is a trailblazer in the media industry. She is definitely someone to know and connect with. Welcome to the table, the amazing Taylar Smith.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me to this lovely conversation. I'm so excited to, share my experiences, share some of the things I've gone through, the good and the bad of it all. But thank you, Ashley, for having me on your show.
You are welcome. So, Taylar, please tell our listeners more about your entrepreneur journey.
All right. So, I feel like I have to take it back. So I moved out here almost 3 years ago, straight out of college. I went to the University of Iowa. I got my degree in journalism, mass communication, had a concentration in broadcasting. It's crazy because I feel like I was able to speak things into existence. And I feel like people can speak things into existence. All throughout my journalism career in college, I was like, I'm going to work for CNN. I'm going to work for CNN. I'm going to work for CNN. And the city I'm from, it's really small. So it's like dreams like that, it wasn't like common, compared to like people that are already out here in Atlanta or in bigger cities that have these, connections already. So me coming out of Iowa to Atlanta, working as an intern with one of the biggest news networks in the country, was huge for me. So, I graduated, December 2016. I started my internship with CNN January 2017. So it was super quick transition from living in a, apartment with 3 girls to living out here in Atlanta with no family,
Mm-hmm.
But I started TaylarleighTV, TLTV, right after my internship ended with CNN. The goal was, after CNN, work with CNN, but it didn't really happen for me that way. They didn't hire me right after my internship. And it was discouraging at first, of course, you have a plan and you feel like you're doing your best and you're doing everything you can to try to grow within a company, and then, the ball drops on you, you don't get the job. But maybe 3, 4, 5 months after my internship ended, I was like, you know what, Taylar, I know I didn't come all the way to Atlanta from Iowa to not pursue what I want to do. And it's like, if, just like people say, find a way, make one, you got to make a way for yourself. So that's what I did. The idea of TaylarleighTV just came, it rhymed, it was cute, it was catchy. I was like, I'm going to try to go all in with this. I think my first real interview came, this was back when Stacey Abrams was trying to run for office,
Yeah.
So I went to one of these events, and I didn't get to interview Stacey, but just throwing myself out there gave me the courage to keep going. I was super shy, super scared to go up to people and talk to them and try to see, how they were feeling. And I think what made me keep going are my losses. And I feel like people, they shouldn't be afraid to fail, because when you're chasing a dream, you have to fail forward, So there were times when I'd be at events or media events and I wasn't interviewing the subject, the main person there. And I would get discouraged in the beginning, but then it's like I always had a super good support system. Just keep going, keep trying, keep going, keep trying. So that's when TaylarleighTV really took off. I feel like August of 2018. Yeah, August of 2018 is really when it took off. After the Stacey Abrams event, I started getting into the media world and meeting other journalists and connecting, networking with other women, other, people that have been in the industry a little bit longer than me that are able to, help me get to the next event or give me, pointers of things that I should do. And I just kind of fell into it, really. I started going to events. I think NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists, they held an event out here in Atlanta that I went to, and Monica Pearson was there. And, that's big. I was like, Monica Pearson, she's a legend out here in Atlanta. And I got to speak with her one-on-one, and she gave me some really good pointers about everything from what you should wear on camera, how you should present yourself, questions you should ask, showing your personality. And I think that's what really has carried me along the way through the media industry, is not trying to be like somebody else, I had to be myself and be comfortable enough in front of a camera to be myself, but still deliver my message or capture the interviews that I need to capture.
I love that, and I love that you spoke about, how you, started your internship, but, things didn't work out, right? But you created your own opportunity, and you created your own platform, and I think a lot of people, they get stuck there, right? They feel like, if somebody don't give you a seat at the table, that's it. No, you build your own table.
You have to, and I think it's so important that you surround yourself around a group of people that support your dreams, and that can push you to keep going, because I cannot, fathom how discouraging this media industry can be, It's not easy, especially being in Atlanta when there's 5 other million people trying to do the same thing that you're doing, So it's like you have to try to figure out ways to separate yourself from other people. You have to figure out ways to, make your content interesting, and you have to kind of like find yourself. And in finding myself, I figured out that entertainment is what I like. I like being on those red carpets with celebrities. I like talking to, people that are up and coming and people that are, in the film industry or however. But I feel like because of my failures, again, it taught me a lot about myself, and it taught me about my strengths more so than my weaknesses. There was a lot of times where I talked myself out of things that I was good at. It's all about believing in yourself and to continue going and growing, and it's an everyday process. Even today I'm still learning. I'm still trying to take TLTV out of Atlanta and traveling with it and doing everything that I can. But I'm happy that I didn't give up. And for me, I still thought this is just the beginning. Like I said, I've only been out here in Atlanta for maybe 2, almost 3 years. So who's to say where TLTV will be in the next year, because a lot can happen in a year.
Yes, you can. That is so true. And you are a trailblazer in the industry, so tell us more about your passion. I know you spoke a little bit about it, how, entertainment is where you found yourself and that's what you want to do. So let's talk more about, why you're so passionate about the media industry.
So I think this is where it came from. When I was in college, I went into college as a biology major. I had this idea of me being an orthodontist. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I was more so focused on the money. I was like, I want to find one of the highest paying jobs out here so I can get some money. But it was like, that wasn't what I was called to do. I'm a very spiritual person on top of that, too. So I was just like, I need to figure out what it is. I just got into the school of journalism, and I realized I like to talk. I like to talk to people. That's my biggest strength, like communication. And that internship with CNN, I didn't believe it. Was like it was a dream, but it's like when you actually get there and you're able to accomplish that, you're like, wow, what else can I do? So it was like, what else can I do, Taylor? And I feel like things really took off, and I started becoming really passionate about the entertainment industry when I interviewed DJ Envy. That was like my first big, huge interview, and that was during Super Bowl weekend here in Atlanta when Super Bowl was here just this past year. Once I was able to get comfortable with speaking with people that are, great, or doing amazing things, I was like, this is something that I could do every day. And it's like, I used to be so afraid to speak with different celebrities when at the end of the day, they're just like us, It's really just about being yourself and having the courage to go out there and speak with people. And I think I became passionate about it after I was able to see my successes from it. I felt like in the beginning I took so many losses from doing it that once I was able to see some success behind it, things really started taking off for me, it was like after DJ Envy, I was able to interview, producers like Zaytoven. After Zaytoven, I was able to interview people like Gabrielle Union, Like after Gabrielle Union, I'm able to interview people like Deborah Lee. So it was like I was able to take something that started off so small and so little and grow it and being able to put my name out there to the fact where I'm not having to, reach out to certain people. These people that I was reaching out to are reaching out to me, And I don't know, the passion just came from like, it came from like a seed. It was like it just grew. It grew and grew and grew every day. And again, back to what I was saying, like I knew I didn't come from little small town Iowa to huge Atlanta not to pursue something that I think about constantly every day, that I pray about, that I see myself being this person. And I feel like I would rather live with the fact knowing that I tried than living with the regret, wondering what if I didn't. And I think that's
Hello? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Hello? Hello?
This is SIBN Engineering. I believe you've lost your guest. Oops. This is the engineering department. I believe you've lost your guest.
Okay, so Taylor, you were talking about more about, how you got in the media industry and why you're so passionate about it, which brings me to you were talking about your internship with CNN, right? I know about the process there, but could you also speak to our listeners about how that internship, opened more doors for you as well, though? How it still...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was working in my department that I was in with CNN was the Atlanta Bureau. We covered breaking news. So it was fun. It was always something going on. I worked a lot on the set of, like, HLN. I was able to go out with our field reporters on, like, actual, live shots and going out there with, like, the people you see on TV every single day, working side by side with them. And being able to have CNN on your resume itself is just big, Like, it's big, especially, coming straight out of college, too, at that. And I feel like because I had that on my resume, it was able to open doors up in the media industry, especially for me starting off with TLTV. It kind of gave me like a boost of credibility. So it's like when I'm sitting here and I'm applying for media credentials to go to All-Star, or I'm applying to go to media credentials for a Stacey Abrams event, people are looking at my resume or they're looking at, some of my photos or some of the things that I've done for, like, the Atlanta Press Club or whatever, and they're like, wow, she worked for CNN. And I think it's so important that you land an internship before you go out here in this world. Like, it's so hard breaking in to, like, the media world when you don't have anything to kind of, like, back up your name a little bit. It's not impossible, because I've seen people do it, but it gives you a little more leverage, you know, when you do have companies. And it doesn't have to be anything huge like CNN. It can be anything. But if you have somebody behind your name, it just makes things a lot easier.
Yes, that is so important, right? For our listeners that are listening, even if you start off as a guest co-host or you co-host,
yes,
get your name out there.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, even today, people are like, "Oh, well, why aren't you working at CNN anymore?" Or like, "How'd you go from, you know, CNN to this now?" I just feel like God makes no mistakes, you know, and I feel like it was, for my life at least, it was meant for me to see how, like, the media industry works, you know, and to being able to be in CNN and see, like, live breaking news, or to be in a newsroom at all, which is hectic. Like, newsrooms it's always something going on, you know, alarms going off. It's like what you see in the movies, you know, and it was just, for me, I feel like it was a stepping stone to my next move, you know.
Yes, and I love that you shine light on that for our listeners that are listening. Like, you know, don't let, you know, everything has a purpose, right? Everything,
absolutely.
Everything has a lesson, and it's part of the journey, pretty much. It's part of the journey.
Absolutely.
You would have never stepped out and created TaylarleighTV if it wasn't for that internship.
It was, and honestly, I wouldn't have. And imagine this. Let's say, for me, when I first graduated, I graduated December 17th, 2016. I heard back from CNN a week later, right? But during that week, I was applying for jobs, you know, just any type of job. You know, I'm fresh out of college. I'm like, okay, I got to get a grown-up job. You know, I don't want to be in my mom's place still. You know, like, I need to figure it out. Had it not been for that internship, I know for a fact I would not have been doing TLTV at all. And had it not been for that internship, I probably wouldn't have been in Atlanta. You know, had I not been in Atlanta, I wouldn't have met some of the people or done some of the things that I would have done. Not to say it wouldn't have happened, but the way it did happen, I'm thankful for it, you know.
You know what? And I just want to thank you and commend you for taking that jump, taking that risk, right? Coming all the way from Iowa to Atlanta. I'm sure it was a good.
It's like you have to take that leap of faith too. Like, for me, I had maybe like a few distant cousins that lived out here. When I first moved out here, I didn't have a car. I was sleeping on my cousin's couch. You know, I was taking the Gwinnett Transit from Lawrenceville all the way downtown to take the MARTA, from MARTA to the CNN building and back, like, for my whole internship. My internship originally was supposed to be 3 months, but they extended it for another 3 months. So I was interning without a car, you know, sleeping on a cousin's couch, doing whatever I had to do just to make sure that I am there and back each time. So it's like, I feel like where a lot of people, you know, mess up at is they get discouraged too quickly and they want to give up, but you can't give up because people go through things, you know. And I felt like because of the journey that I had to go through, it made me who I am today. Like, I look back on it and I laugh because I was so worried. You know, I was so worried then, like, things won't work out. And it's like, now I'm looking here 2 years later and I'm like, wow, you know, all you have to do is have that leap of faith in you and do it. And I was talking to one of my homegirls about a week ago, and I was just like, if you have this gut feeling, you know, and you think about something every single day, just go for it. You know, go for it and see what happens. If you fail, you fail, but at least you tried, you know?
Right, at least you try. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it so important for you to know your worth in the media industry? It's so important.
I think it's important to know your worth in the media industry because you don't want to be like something that you're not, you know. And a lot of times before, you know, I started doing TLTV, I was, you know, admiring others' work, you know. I was admiring other people's style. And I feel like by admiring those other people's style, I was losing sight of myself and what Taylar brings to the table, you know, and like how Taylar reports things or how Taylar goes out and interviews other people. I remember when I was speaking with Monica Pearson during that NABJ event, and she was saying the most important thing a journalist can have is their voice. And that's what separates you from everybody else, you know. Don't try to be like, you know, anybody else but yourself. Your voice is what's going to carry you. And I feel like knowing your worth through this media industry, you have to, because media is kind of cutthroat. It's like honestly, you know, it's cutthroat. And I feel like if you don't know your worth, you'll fall.
Powerful. That's so. I'm hoping our listeners are writing these nuggets down that Taylar is sharing with us tonight. So Taylar, we talked about, you know, finding your voice and how important finding your voice is. So can we go more in depth about, you know, finding your voice and discovering?
Yeah. Absolutely. So I felt like for me, when discovering my voice, I had to do like a self-reflection. You know, I had to go back to who Taylar is. Taylar from Davenport, Iowa. Taylar, you know, Taylar who, my biggest thing was I didn't want to be like just a pretty face on camera. You know, I wanted to be somebody that somebody looked at as credible, somebody that if you turned on your TV or if you got on your Instagram or your social media and you watching my content that I'm delivering, it's the same Taylar you're talking to outside of, you know, the camera to the same Taylar that you see on camera. Like, I wanted my personality to just stay there. I didn't want to be one way in front of the camera and be a different person outside of that. Like, if you ever saw me anywhere outside of media, I want you to get the same feel that you feel for me while I'm in it, you know? And I feel like when you become comfortable enough and you become confident enough in yourself, everything else just flows naturally, you know? And I never really had to, like, write down, you know, who I am or write down, like, none of that. You know, I kind of just stayed myself, stayed true to who I am, and it was either people liked it or they didn't, and I haven't had any negative feedback from it since, you know? So I just feel like you just have to be yourself, and while being yourself, you find your voice in doing that.
Yes, be authentic. That's key.
Yeah, be authentic. It's definitely key. Because people, I don't care what people say, people know when you're not authentic, when you're not yourself, when, you know, what they're watching or what they're viewing is not real. And I just want people to, at least for my viewers and the people that tune into what I'm doing, to know that this is really who Taylar is.
Absolutely. So what are some of the pros and cons, Taylar, of the media industry?
Oh, man. Okay. The pros, definitely just being in the same room as some powerful people, you know. I think it was so enlightening being at the National Basketball Wives Association that was happening in All-Star Weekend. It was like I'm in the same room as Gail King, you know, I'm in the same room as Gabrielle Union, Deborah Lee, you know, all these, like, amazing, strong, hardworking women, you know. I feel like media opens so many doors for you to be around people that you look up to, you know. My most recent thing was Revolt Summit was here in Atlanta, and being able to be in the same room or in the same area as P. Diddy or, you know, all these high millionaires, billionaires, you know, doing their thing. Like, there's so many pros to that. And then on top of that, like, having media passes takes you a lot of places, like getting in free, you know, going, you know, it's just like, it's kind of like a luxury, you know, if you get into the right spots, like, you don't have to necessarily wait in lines for things, you know, like, depending on who, you know, the PR person that you're dealing with, they treat you so well and so respected. And the best thing about media is the networking. You know, like, I've been in the same rooms, like, you know, 11 Alive or TMZ or The Shade Room or, like, all of these people that have millions of followers, or BET or however, you know, all these people that have millions and millions of followers, millions of viewers, and we are just sitting here networking, having regular conversations, trying to, you know, collaborate and do things like that. And I would say for me, the best thing about media is the networking opportunities that come with it. Now, as far as, like, the cons go, Man, for me, I do entertainment, correspondent work. So sometimes when you don't get your interviews in, you're sitting on the red carpet all day, standing up. Sometimes, life happens. Your camera equipment's not working, or SD cards are failing. Like, I remember, I would never forget. I was trying to interview Beethoven. I was interviewing Beethoven. I had the perfect interview with him. I come back home trying to edit the footage. Footage is lost, gone. I'm just like, oh my gosh, how did this happen to me? Things like that. Or when you're trying to do a stand-up, and there's like 15, 20, 30 other people trying to do a stand-up right by your stand-up. So it's like you could have audio issues sometimes, technical issues. Even things as far as like being tired. Like with me, I work a 9-to-5 job still. Like I have a regular job. So it's like sometimes these media events might start, they want you to check in at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and I'm just not getting off of work. So it's like you really have to plan accordingly. There'll be times I'm getting off of work, but I'm changing in the bathrooms real quick to hurry up and make sure I make it, to check in. But I'd say for me at least, there's more pros about it than there are cons. And really it's what you make it. Mm-hmm. And I say that because although you may not get to interview that person that you wanted to interview, you can still make a story out of it. Like B-roll and getting footage, and it's all the angles of how you present your work and your story. And in the beginning, that was something that I had to learn. I felt like, okay, if I didn't get out there and I didn't get the interview, then there's nothing for me to talk about. There's no content there. But really, there's a lot of content there. You can make a story your own. It doesn't have to necessarily be, work that is just dead and gone. You can turn it into however you want to turn it into. And that's the best thing about having your own, company, your own network. It's yours. You don't have anybody telling you what you have to do. You can make it your own thing.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's so important. So I hope everybody's writing down the pros and the cons of it. And I love that you said networking is one of the best parts about it, because it is.
Oh, it's the best thing. It's the best thing. It is the best thing. And honestly, I have not really met too many people that I felt like I couldn't collaborate with, or that weren't trying to help. I feel like sometimes the media world, it can be like a modeling agency. There might be sometimes those people that don't, might be a little snooty or don't want to work with you or not. But there are so many women, especially here in Atlanta, there's so many women and men that are willing to just lend that extra help, whether it be like, hey, come to my event, or even with you, Ashley, let's talk about, media, come onto my show. Like, there's so many people that are like that. And I feel like those are the people that you have to cling on to the most, because when, there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody here, and I feel like people, they try to make it a competition, but it doesn't have to be that way at all, Like, just because, you're doing your thing, it's not going to dim my light at all, and vice versa. And vice versa.
Because we can all win, right? And I'm a true believer in that we can all win. And like you said, it's room for all of us at this table. And that's
absolutely
so important, because I want to go into collaboration, so I'm glad you brought that up. So would you please tell listeners why collaboration is so important when getting to the next level?
Because, again, I've met some of the most amazing women that were all doing their own thing. It was all media related, but I have friends that do podcasts, I have friends that are, doing, talk shows, or I have friends that are doing things like me, being on the red carpet and things like that. When you collaborate with people, that opens up doors for you. There's events that I didn't know nothing about, but because of my networking, because of me collaborating with different people, these same people are reaching out to me like, hey, girl, this is happening. Make sure you apply for this so you can get in, and vice versa. And again, back to how you were saying there's room for everybody at the table. There really, really. And I feel like sometimes it's better to collaborate with people that have a smaller following, not necessarily trying to have to collaborate with the biggest company out here, because those same people are out here trying to grind hard just like you, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's like when you're collaborating with those people that are starting small and just started their business and all that type of thing, you know that they have that same type of energy, that same type of passion that you have and that you share. And then on top of that, you make really good friends. Like, I've met some of the best people through just collaborating with them.
It's so powerful. It's so powerful when we work together, right? And
absolutely.
It's not about competition. Oh my God, miracles can happen. So much amazing things can happen. So
absolutely,
right on that.
Absolutely, and like I said, there were events that I knew nothing about, or that I didn't even think that I was necessarily qualified for yet, that I've gotten into because I collaborated with people that were on the same grind, that had the same type of heart that I did, and that just wanted to see me win. And I've noticed that my grandmother used to tell me this, that although you might not think people are watching or looking, there are people that have reached out to me that I didn't even know paid attention to anything TLTV had going on, you know. And it feels good. You know, it feels good to know that people they may not speak too much on it, but people are watching, and then they're happy, and they appreciate the work that you're doing, and they want to share that work with you. You know, they want to share these opportunities. They want to share these wins with you. And I can't stress enough that collaboration over competition any day. Like, collaboration over competition any day in this media industry.
Yes, any day. And like when I'm always, you know, watching and seeing who I want to put on my show. And I saw your profile and on social media and all the great things that you were doing. So why not? You know? So you're right.
Exactly.
It's watching. Right.
Exactly. And again, Ashley, I'm so happy. Like, when you reached out to me, I was surprised. I was like, well, shoot, did we have some mutual followers or something? Like, how'd she find me? I was like, I'm so happy she did. I was like, she's so sweet and so nice. But yes, honestly, that's how it really is. You know, it's people that you don't even know that are paying attention to your work that will reach out to you and, you know, want to work with you and want to collaborate, because we both can win.
We both can win. And for our listeners that are listening, somebody's always watching. So remember that.
Somebody's
absolutely. Studying you and watching you.
Absolutely.
So what is some advice you would give to aspiring listeners who are aspiring entertainment media correspondents? What are some things that you would, some strategies or some advice you would give to them if they're aspiring to be, you know, an entertainment media correspondent?
The first thing I would tell them to do is don't plan a start date. Just do it. You know, just do it. Like, I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, you know, well, when the new year comes, like, no, you don't have to wait. Like, start now. And it can be anything. It can be minor. You know, I feel like people, they focus so much on the brand rather than the content. You know, they focus so much on how they want their logo to look or how they want their YouTube page to be set up and all that. It doesn't have to be perfect in the beginning. It's not going to be, you know. And if you focus so much on perfection in the beginning, you know, you're going to be wasting time when you can just start, you know, put a camera in front of your face, practice. Like, you don't have to necessarily share it to the world in the beginning, you know. You can go out there, get a microphone. You know, I got me a little microphone from Best Buy. My homegirl was a graphic designer. I created a quick little logo, put it on there, and then see what your friends think about it. Send your first interview out to your family. You know, get their feedback first, because I think it's important to get feedback from people that you know love you and support you, you know, before you get it from strangers, you know, before you put it out there to the world. So at least you have that confidence in you already that, oh, you know what, I can do this. You know, this isn't too bad. Let me try this, and let me apply to get media credentials at this event. You know, I feel like you shouldn't focus too much on perfection in the beginning. You shouldn't focus too much on having a certain start date. Like, just do it. And there's no perfect time for any of it at all. And another piece of advice that I would give to the viewers that are listening is to study your material. You know, there's times where I look back on, like, my first real interview, and I look at my most recent interview, and you will see the growth, and you can critique yourself, you know. whether it be small things of like, well, let me look at the camera more, you know, or let me not move so much. Let me not be so too fidgety in front of the camera, or, you know, maybe I should try to use this language when I'm speaking to, you know, my subject, or maybe I should try, you know, changing the way I dress just a little bit, you know, like little things. Critique yourself, you know, and I feel like those things will make you better. And also, do not be afraid to reach out to people. I feel like a lot of people are timid or they're scared to ask for advice or ask for help. Don't do that at all. Like, I feel like today, especially now, social media is so powerful and it's so strong. You know, you can literally get on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and if you see somebody that's doing something that you're interested in, shoot them an email, you know, ask if you can come shadow them one day. Like, those are all things that will allow you to get more comfortable in your craft, you know, and those same people, depending on who you talk to, you know, they're going to be more willing to help. And I can't stress enough, again, networking is key. Go to those events. You don't necessarily have to go out there right away and start interviewing people, but I think the first event for me, I went to a blogging beauty event. It was an event full of women that are in journalism, that are interested in media. I was surrounded by a group of like-minded people. Surround yourself with people that have the same interests as you. You guys can help each other. You guys can build off of each other, you know? And that's some of the advice that I would give to anybody that's listening right now. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't feel like you're a burden, you know, or anything like that. Because I've asked for help. I feel like everybody that's been in the media industry has asked for help. Nobody just, you know, goes off and does it. Like, there's always going to be somebody that knows a little bit more than you. So don't take any type of criticism as a bad criticism, you know?
Yeah, so I love that the key thing that you said is everything was important, but get started, right? A lot of people
just get started
because they want to be perfect.
Yeah, like,
do
get
it.
Started. Exactly. Don't wait till January 1st, 2020 to start. Like, start now. Start your day. Start plotting. Write down your ideas. Write things down and then check them off as you go, so you can look back on it like, wow, look what I did.
So let's talk more about, you know, building and creating your seat at the table, because I asked all of my guests this question, and you've built multiple tables for yourself, Taylar. So how did you create your seat at the table?
Oh, the first thing I did, again, I spoke briefly on it, but I went to this blogging beauty event. So the first thing I did was, as far as creating my seat at the table, I put myself in a position to be around what I wanted to do. You know, the first thing you have to do is put yourself, like, you have to get around people that want the same thing as you, you know. So I went to the blogging beauty event that was full of just all women in media, all women in journalism, right? Networked there. Then I went up to somebody that is now like one of my best friends. I was like, wow, how did you get into this? You know, what are some advice that you can give to me, you know? So she was like, you know, I did this and that. The first thing I did was, I was like, okay, if I'm going to be serious about this, I need to create a name. First thing I did was TaylarleighTV, TLTV. I like the way it sounded. I went to Best Buy. I got me a little microphone. I got a logo created. After that logo was created, I put out a promo video. It was just me talking about what I wanted to do, you know, and I had just had all my friends help me out. I had one of my homeboys who's a videographer, and then one of my friends, she was like a content director, so she was just telling me things, like she was interviewing me. I had somebody interviewing me about what I was passionate about, right? I put that out to social media because I felt like nobody's going to take me seriously unless I take myself seriously first. So I was like, the first big thing I did was let the world know, or let, you know, people or my strangers or everybody know this is what I'm about to do, and I want you guys to follow me along this journey, how I do it. So now, not only am I holding myself accountable, other people, strangers, everybody holding me accountable to what I'm saying I'm going to do, right? So after the promo video happened, that's when I did the Stacey Abrams event, you know. So I went out there and I interviewed. I feel like people always feel like they have to, like, the only way an interview is going to be good is if you interview a celebrity. No, I feel like the best interviews are when you're just interviewing normal people, you know, like people that are at these events, you know. when I was at the Stacey Abrams event, I was interviewing people that were at the rally that were wanting to still win. So, I'm sitting here asking questions like, what are some things you want to see done, if Stacey Abrams, wins this election? Like, what are some things that are important to you? And I got to talking to people about health care and got to talking to people about, like work life and things that were just people were passionate about. And it was like when I delivered that content, now it's like you're reaching another crowd. You're reaching people that can relate to these same exact issues that are going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after I did that, I was like, okay, I think I want to try entertainment. You have to try different things to figure out what you're good at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was my first entertainment interview? I forget, but whichever one it was, I got out there, and that's when I really started. I think I interviewed DJ Envy. That's when people, I felt like they started taking me a little more seriously. They're like, okay, now she's really out here at these events. This is all under my own name, like TLTV. This is on, it's popping, it's alive right now. That's what I'm doing. So when I started interviewing like DJ Envy, that's when people started reaching out to me. And that's when I started taking TLTV just a little bit more seriously now. That's when I was like, okay, I need to go ahead and get an LLC behind this. I need to go ahead and make this a business. I need to start putting money into this and doing whatever I can to make my business pop how I want it to, So as far as me creating my seat at the table, it's still creating. There's no end point to this media journey at all. There's things that I could be doing every single day to get to where I want to go, And honestly, I can't even tell you if I have like a set destination where I want to go with it. I just hope it takes me far. Like you have to think about my time period. Like just 2 years ago, I was an intern at CNN, Now here I am interviewing people I never thought I'd even be in the same room as, So as far as like creating that seat, the seat is never fully created. Like you have to keep going and going and going and going and keep creating. There's no end point. You have to keep going because I feel like the moment that you stop, you get comfortable and then you stop producing that content. You stop that drive that you had. It stops. Like just like you're doing, Ashley. You interviewing people on a week-to-week basis, and it's like you don't stop, you keep going, and I feel like that's how people or viewers that are listening and that are tuning in, they take you more seriously. They know, like, oh, okay, Ashley, I know, today's Monday, she's gonna have somebody talking on her show,
Right.
And I feel like when you do that, you allow people to hold you accountable for what you say you're going to do, and that's the same thing with TLTV. I post what I'm about to do, and people be like people kind of get excited, like, oh, let me know how the event's gonna go, or I'm tuning in, or however. But whatever you do, you can't stop doing it. It has to be an everyday grind. It has to be something in your head that tells you to keep going, no matter what the outcome is.
That is so true, right? You have to encourage yourself. So thank you.
You have to encourage yourself.
For sharing that, because being consistent is so important in the media industry.
It is. It's so important.
Yes.
Because if you're not consistent, people aren't going to, take you seriously. Like, you can't just throw out interviews periodically, or you can't just throw out content every 3, 4, 5 months, But it also falls back on yourself. Like, you have to be able to create a plan. You have to have a plan with how you're going to do it, especially if you're working. Most people that are in the media industry, entertainment industry, have a 9-to-5 job as well too. Because in the beginning of TLTV, I'm doing all this, and that's how I'm passionate. I'm doing it for free. Like, if you're willing to do it for free, you're not getting any type of nothing off of it. You're doing it just to hope to see where it goes. Like, that's passion, And when you continue doing it over and over and over again, opportunities present itself.
Absolutely. It sure does. A lot of doors will open for you just doing it. You're serious and consistent. So what did failure teach you on your journey, Taylar? Everybody, wants the success, but we have to go through the process as well. So what did failure teach you?
It taught me my strengths. Like, my failures, every single loss I've taken, and there's been a lot of losses that I've taken silently that nobody knew about, But every single one of my failures have taught me how strong I actually really am, you know. And I feel like every success story has, you know, a failed past, you know. Like Oprah Winfrey, she failed at something, you know, and look who she is today. You know, we have Ellen DeGeneres. She failed at something, but look who she is today. We have all of these people that are in media that failed at something, but they kept going. It's what you have to do is you have to learn how to fail forward. Like, okay, you know, last week this didn't work out at this event, but I have another event coming up, and I'm going to make sure that I do whatever I have to do so that this same thing doesn't happen, because now I know the outcome of this situation, so I can fail forward, you know, and that I won't have that same issue. You know, I might have a different issue, but it's still a growth because I'm not failing at the same thing I was failing at last week. I'm failing at something different, but it's still a fail forward.
It's a lesson, right? A lesson.
It's definitely a lesson. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're very successful, Taylar. So what did success teach you on your journey?
It taught me, like, what I'm really capable of doing, you know? Like, when I landed, like, my first real big interview, I was like, wow, I really limited myself. I really didn't think I could, you know, I really downplayed what I thought I could do, you know? It's like when you hit that first real big interview, it, like, your mind just reached for the stars. I'm like, well, shoot, if I can interview this person, I can interview Oprah, you know? I can interview Obama. I can interview whoever I want to as long as I'm presented in that room, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like when you hit a certain level of success or you hit a goal or a dream, it just makes you want to keep going, because it's like at this point there's no limitations what TLTV can do. If I put my mind to it, you know, if I try, like, there's no limitations to what I can do at all. And those successes feel so good. It outweighs those losses every single time, you know? And you have to know that they're going to come. They might not come when you want them, but they're going to come. They will definitely come.
Yes, they will definitely come. And, you know, as I said, you're doing some amazing things. And like I said, I follow you consistently. You are killing the game in the industry.
I'm trying to.
Keep pushing, keep knocking it out. So what can we expect from you, Taylar, the rest of 2019? We're in the fourth quarter, and I know you're going to finish.
We are definitely in the fourth quarter, and that's what people think. Just because, you know, it's December, we giving up. No, I'm looking at my calendar right now. We still got moves to make. We still got things to do. You know. We still got things to do. But I think next for TLTV is I'm trying to branch out. Like, I feel like I've gotten a little comfortable with the entertainment. But what I want to fall into, especially now, is politics. I feel like that's something that I want my viewers to know, like, I'm smart, too. You know, I know what I'm talking about. Like, I can laugh and joke with, you know, the entertainment. You know, we can chit-chat and all that, but we got some serious issues going on in the world right now, you know, and right now, especially during this time, you know, I want to focus a little more on politics. Like, I live in Atlanta. Our mayor is a black woman, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't see why there's any reason why I couldn't talk to Mayor Bottoms, because why not?
Right.
You know? Right. And I feel like, especially to the viewers that are listening that are from a small town, you have to branch out. Like, I know that the things that I'm doing now wouldn't be happening if I was still in Iowa. No way, because those opportunities aren't in Iowa, you know? So I'm not saying move to L.A., go broke, and live in your car, do none of that. Don't. Plan accordingly, please, you know? Plan accordingly. But you definitely have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to get uncomfortable. And I feel like when you're uncomfortable, that means a blessing or a success story is about to happen.
Absolutely, because uncomfortable, you are so right. And it's good to be uncomfortable. And a lot of people don't like being uncomfortable, but that's me.
They don't. And they'll fold. You cannot fold under pressure. Like, you cannot. You just have to keep going.
Yes, and that's when something big is about to happen. So embrace being uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, you know, as far as TLTV, like, I just want to see what I'm good at. I want to see, like, you know, if politics doesn't work out, and you know, why not sports? You know, like, let's just see what I'm good at and where it can go. You know, I really don't have any set thing on it. Like right now, you know, TLTV has been focused on entertainment, but I don't think there's any limitations to it at all.
Absolutely. And I wish you much success, because I'm sure you're going to continue to break through those glass ceilings. And I can't wait to see you get into the politics side of it. I will be over here supporting and rooting for you as well. So
thank you.
Congratulations in advance for all the things that you are getting ready to do and you're about to do.
Thank you so much, Ashley. And, you know, like, woman to woman, like, I see you doing your thing, too. Like, it's inspiring. I look at your Instagram page, your content. I'm like, she's literally producing content steadily, consistently. And I think that is just admirable, you know, because, like, I know what it's like, you know. I know what the media industry is like, and having to stay consistent, it can be a lot of pressure sometimes. So it's like, I'm proud of you, too, and I love what you're doing. I love, you know, that you even reached out to me. Like, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing it.
Yes, you are. You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. And I want our listeners to continue to reach out to you and support you on all social media platforms. So will you please tell them how they can do that?
Absolutely. So my Instagram tag is TaylarleighTV. It's spelled TaylarleighTV. That's how you can reach me on Instagram. I have a website. You can reach me out at that at www.TaylarleighTV.com. Same spelling. If you want to reach out to me on YouTube, everything is TaylarleighTV. I'm pretty sure if you Google TaylarleighTV, you're going to see me.
Yes. So please follow and support her. She's definitely somebody to know and connect with. Again, Taylar, thank you for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule. This has been a powerful interview, and I can't wait to invite you back to the table.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I'm excited to see everything that we got going for this fourth quarter. It's not over with yet.
That's right. It's not over with yet. So keep pushing, and I look forward to working and collaborating with you in the future.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you.
So I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Collins-Marquis and John Schamberger. I would also like to give a special thanks to Kimberly McLemore and my intern, Sarah, from Tennessee State University, and my intern, Vontaria, from Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.